Hi, Dick Falk is my name. I live in Walnut Creek, California. This is a 67 GT350 Shelby. I have a restoration shop and I've moved it around a couple of times. Well, back in the day when I was able to buy this car, I heard about a friend of mine that worked for me at the time. He knew some people and they'd stop and have a drink or something in Walnut Creek at the end of the day. And the fellow's wife worked for an attorney. And she says to Tom, it was his name, could you or Dick get down to Orinda and give us what you could, the value-wise, so we could settle a little bit of an estate on a car. And Tom said, well, I'll have Dick do that. That following Saturday, I was going to Oakland to see Craig Clemens, the wood grainer. He was tinting the colors on my 41 Merc Woody I was building up. So I thought, well, I'll stop and look at that car. So I get to the house. Now the lady that had the car, the man she was living with had passed away and he had lost his wife prior. And I get there and I introduced myself and she opened the garage door. There was a Bronco there. I think it was a 68. And it was like brand new. And she says, well, that's given to a family that he hunted with. She said that Mustang, she said, we need to get a value on that. And so I go over and I open the door to get a number off the VIN number. And the VIN number is different on a Shelby than it is on a regular Mustang. And I couldn't find it. So I look up, well, here it's got a roll bar, a factory roll bar. Well, I thought, wow, this is different. And it had white stuff piled on top of it, sleeping bags and stuff like that. So I moved everything out of the way. And I got what information I needed. And as it was when I left there, I didn't remember driving through the tunnel to go down to Oakland. But anyway, I thought, well, if there's any chance I could buy that car, I said, I'd sure like to find out about it. I got back to her. She said, well, she says, I'll give you the car free. She said, if you'd hook me up to the sewer to this house that I'm living in here. And I said, well, let me find out about it. Well, I talked to some friends and she lived up a little steep driveway and they said, well, you're looking at $50,000, $70,000 to do that. Well, I said, well, that's out of my line. I don't do anything about that kind of stuff anyway. So I got back to her and she says, well, she says, let me think about it. So I waited about, I don't know, probably close to 5 or 6 days. I called her and she says, well, I'm still thinking. Gets back and said, well, the Ford dealer came over, got it running, and then she said they offered her $7,500. And I said, oh boy. She said, would you pay me $8,000 for the car? I said, yes, ma'am. And the rest is history.